seeing as I just did the whole regional video and uploaded that, this one's going to be fairly quick, simple, and to the point. This week's episode of YGO 7s. Someone is on fucking crack! What the hell just happened? Ay, ay, ay. Welcome, everybody. So, yeah, as last week's episode ended, Yuga has decided to play against the Lukeman in the final duel of the beat a bunch of weird masked children to save a giant robot on the moon arc. Official name. And yeah, so you kind of go into this episode with a fair amount of expectations. You assume it's going to be a straightforward duel where Yuga is going to try and snap Luke out of whatever weird mind control he's in the middle of so they can beat the bad guys. Wrong! Wrong! I mean, essentially, I think that's where this is going, considering how the episode ends. But this was the craziest way of presenting things they could have imagined. The minute the episode gets going, first up, there was some wonky animation. Was I the only one who noticed that? First up, when their dual discs turn on, it's actually stock footage. Because, like, all of a sudden, even though, like, it looked like it was the middle of the day last week, it's now, like, 8:30 at night. But, whatever. But yeah, no, you can clearly tell when their dual discs turn on, it's stock footage. Also, the area, even outside their little dual field thing, is, like, lit. Which it sometimes is in shots and sometimes isn't. What's that about? I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So, the duel starts, and Yuga's kind of acting funny. He's sort of talking a little different, but what's interesting is that it's very subtle. It's not over the top, it's not in your face, it's just kind of something you just kind of notice as it progresses. He's talking a little differently. When his monsters come, they got like a sinister look to them. And you just kind of pick up on it, and then everyone else picks on, like, he's acting odd. And so, naturally, you kind of start to wonder, how does this play into things? Well, it turns out, Yuga's plan seems to be to feed into Luke's fantasy by at first pretending to be the villain in all this. The actor is clearly having fun. Because, like, it's not enough. Also, I think it's kind of funny how, like, Luke Man gets more of a costume, like, he gets covered in shit, and how that was silhouetted in the OP, which is kind of a clever little way to tie it all in. But yeah, no, so he gets more armor, and the duel commences, and Yuga all of a sudden becomes, like, the big supervillain who the Luke Man has to defeat, and then the duel itself goes fairly straightforward. But where this episode really becomes pure and utter insanity is the other Goha siblings show up still with those stupid masks on. No, I'm not letting this go. They show up and just begin to explain what's going on here. And the simple explanation is that the Goha helmets are up to something and that this is all part of some sort of crazy scheme to get them off it. It might still be that. I think that's still what we're building to, but the way they present the rest of it is that the reason all this happened is because Luke was a kid, he made the manga, all that good stuff, we knew that. Tiger brought it out for the sole purpose of embarrassing him. That was the ending of an episode. That was just a gag. It's not just a gag. It's what kicks off this whole thing. Because Tiger then wanted to submit it as like a prize for a Duel magazine. And this like 12-year-old girl at the end of the 21st century thought the thing to do was to put it in a fax machine. Which don't even exist right now. Where does she get a fax machine? She tries shoving it in there, destroying the fax machine, which causes several coincidences to happen that result in the Luke Man from the manga getting digitized and turned into an electronic being. This is how you know it's the future and technology has progressed from brains. There, you had to kidnap small children and, like, put their brains through torture to create electronic creatures. Here, all you have to do is just, like, break a fax machine. That is Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s in a nutshell. So yeah, and this then resulted in it somehow combining with a Goha helmet, I guess, which then proceeded to personify itself based on Luke's manga and fell to Earth where Luke thought it was a shooting star. And it attached to Luke's head with the goal of making the world like Luke's manga. Yes! They want you to go along with this. They expect you to believe this. Remember the Dimension plot from Arc 5? That ain't got shit when compared to this. That is what we are currently dealing with. It's crazy. It's genuinely insane. Like, it's not what you expect to happen. You expect just the standard, they gotta get the helmet off Luke. And again, that is clearly where this is going, but you have all this other stuff. Also, the little chibis of everybody that just keep popping up in the flashback. I love it. I want sleeves of that. Why can't we get more fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Sleeves, Konami? Give me little sleeves of, like, everyone is chibi. I demand it. Also, it's fun seeing Tiger talk to other characters besides Asuna or Luke or Yuga, considering I would like to see... I like seeing the characters interact with each other. That's obviously the strength of the show. But so now, then we get towards the end of the episode where the fantasy now goes in another direction. Because you've seen it before in, like, animes where someone is delusional. People will, like, play into the fantasy and be, like, the villain to their hero. No! At the end of this, another Goha helmet pops up, goes on to Yuga, doesn't take him over, but turns him into the Yuga Man! Now, does this mean the helmet's going to control him? Does this mean Yuga has a way to control the helmet? Does this mean anything? I don't know! If we were to and then it ends with, like, the siblings revealing they brought a whole rack of clothes for everyone to change into. So they can feed into the fantasy. Where is this going? I need to know. If I were to speculate what might be going on here, one thing that would be so fucking metal... Oh, also, I like how it tied into when Nail was a kid, and he, like, brought all those fucking satellites down. I didn't think that would be brought back into it. But no, apparently the reason polymerization exists, because it's not like this is all supposed to be one universe, and they can't just have fusion... The reason this went this way is that there were those key card identifier things in the satellites he brought down, and then those stayed in space where they were then able to be altered by the helmet to create fusion. Why would they make fusion specifically for the villain kid versus the Luke Man? I don't know. But this does lead into... Also, you could make the argument, maybe that's why the polys look a little different. Some were just in, like, different areas or parts of the meter. I don't fucking know anymore! So, my one little theory I'll leave you all with is this. What if Yuga is tricking the Goha siblings? He's obviously not above that. But what if, like, he's trying to mess with them to get what he wants? He can manipulate them, and that this is all going to lead into the next phase of his own little planet. That'd be so fucking cool. And you could imagine Yuga doing that. Like, he's manipulating the manipulators to get what he wants. That is Yuga, and I love it, and this was insane, and I really had to talk about it, even though it's already Wednesday, and I wanted to do both videos. So yeah, that was this week's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. What the hell is happening? I don't know anymore. I just need to keep watching. So yeah, as for the TCG question of the week. So yeah, ban list fallout has happened. Many people are thinking Tri-Brigade will change, which it will, but not a lot. Same with Tritron. But my question to you is, will you try a new deck this format? Are you going to give Pen Magician a try? Trust me, I've been a Pendulum player for years. It can be a super fun deck. Or will you stick with what you got? Or now that you know certain things you thought were going to get hit, are you going to give them a try? Because you have a long time to play things like Dragoon or Verte Anaconda or all these cards. Tell me that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week for the craziest conclusion they can imagine.